Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zeo Cogs. I don't know very much about this figure, but I thought it had some nice army building potential. I'm going to try to combine it with one of my channel's old armies. That's the small aliens from the 100 yen store. Super cheapy, bendy aliens. But with a little bit of luck, I think I can customize these guys to have the alien heads. There is the alien back there, if my camera would focus on him. Okay. I apologize. I know so little, so the major Power Rangers fans out there will probably be pretty disappointed. But I did try this review already once, so I'm trying it again. In the back of the box, you can see that's a little logo design. I don't know the significance of it, but I suppose it has something to do with the Lightning Collection's theme. Either that or the Zeo Cogs theme. But we're going to get the accessories out, and they're going to be easy because I already removed the tape. So we'll just kind of dump them here. And these guys sort of pop out. I guess these are kind of like stronger version of Puddies or something like that. Puddies are like the enemy troopers in Power Rangers. I was just a little bit too old to get into Power Rangers much. I think I watched it because it was kind of goofy and it was sort of fun to watch like physical fights that were not so serious. But yeah, it's just it was a little bit late for me to get into much. Maybe it also seemed to be pretty childish, so that part was kind of a turnoff because of my age. So, but anyways, with this guy, let's take a look at the accessories first. Put these on here, and hopefully my camera will focus for a while. So we have these little staffs, and I believe this is like a telescoping weapon. I think the Zeo Cogs sort of shake it or push something and it slides out into this staff version so they can fight with it. And it's a pretty good looking thing. It's painted gold on either side for the tip parts. And these are made out of a plastic that's slightly bendy, but it's not too bendy. It's not like the terrible G.I. Joe weapons that we often get that are almost like slimy, or they're just too rubbery. But anyways, the texture for these are better. So I checked, this figure was released in 2022. That's probably one of the reasons why it's on clearance right now. But as far as the other weapons, apparently you get the Blue Ranger's weapons. And I heard a little bit about that online, so it's they weren't included with one of the Blue Ranger figures, and they got a lot of negative feedback about that, so they decided to include it with this Zeo Cog figure, I guess. But it might have some connection to the Zeo Cogs themselves. But this is the alternate head, which sort of has this like clockwork steampunk design. It opens up, and I think he can shoot blasts out of his eyes. So I like the mouth, and I like the overall aesthetic. So it's nicely done. By the way, it doesn't slide or fold or anything, so it's just an alternate head. And then you also have these alternate hands that he came with. You can see the gloves design. They've got these two little bumps or ports or something, and then they go back and meet in the middle. But you got a right hand that's punching and a left hand that's sort of the like, ah ha ha ha, evil bad guy hand. And then out of the box, he sort of seems to come with almost like trigger finger hands, but the trigger fingers are misleading because they're not actually separated here. So you cannot put it on an actual trigger if you had one. So, but anyways, the aesthetic of the figure, if we focus on that for just a moment, hopefully this guy will be in focus while we focus on it. But he does have that kind of shiny, swirly gray plastic. Normally, I wouldn't be a fan, but in this case, I think it does look sort of alien or otherworldly. And since I plan on attaching one of these heads onto each of the 8 figures that I bought, I'm going to try to make alien troopers. I don't know if it's going to work yet, but hopefully it'll work. So, okay. And for the rest of his aesthetic, he does have not a whole lot of paint, but a decent amount. These parts are painted, and this is painted. We've got paint down here, and we've got paint on sort of these bands across his boots. So it might be more paint than your typical Marvel Legends have these days. As far as the primary head, this one has a separate piece that I think is glued on. I don't think we can take that off easily, but I am curious, what's under there? But anyways, pretty cool looking design. A little bit scary, a little bit otherworldly, a little bit steampunk. But yeah, I'm gonna do away with it in can we say, in favor of like a typical classic alien design. If I pop that head off, you can sort of see what it might look like with the alternate head on, but I don't know how well this is going to work yet. I'm sure that the bendy wire goes up into his neck, but I have to be able to cut this and then carefully Dremel out a hole in the back so this head will sit on here without sitting very strangely or unnaturally. May have to drill out more like towards here than actually the base of the head. So anyways, I'll try to give you some updates on that in the future. Let's take a look at what he looks like with his alternate head. Just for fun. That's the design there. So I think they put these out and then they kind of like blast, shoot out from their eyes, some kind of beam weapon. Okay, we'll go back to the normal head and let's get a measurement on him. He does stand pretty small, but for my alien idea, typically the little green men are portrayed as little. So I thought that might work in my favor instead of being a drawback on this figure. So he's gonna stand at just about here. Okay, so that is gonna give us about 6 1/8 inches, maybe slightly under 6 1/8. So we're sitting close to 15.5 centimeters for the height on this figure. Okay, let's go on to his posability. And this is part of the figure that shines for the most part, I think. So he can look up quite a lot and down quite a lot. He is on a hinge and ball peg similar to Marvel Legends system. So he doesn't get barely any attitude, unfortunately, but for other posing, it's not too bad. So, okay, he does come with butterfly joints, but they are quite stiff right out of the box. As far as the functionality, try to get these going forward as much as possible. So they don't quite give you like across the chest action, chest action, but they do go back in a pretty functional way. So I think they're relatively well done, and it blends in pretty well for the most part, I think. Okay, his shoulders will hinge up quite a lot, and they do hinge and of course swivel or pivot at the center part here. Okay, he's got a bicep cut and he's got double jointed pinned elbows. This figure came out in 2022, so I don't think that the pinless technology was widely adopted yet at Hasbro. I might be wrong on the timing, but I think it was around the time they're starting to introduce pinless. Okay, and then he has horizontally hinged hands that we talked about before. Okay, he's got a diaphragm joint that goes side to side quite well, and it also goes back a decent amount, forward a decent amount, but then you have this inverted ab crunch that will help. So he can go forward a lot and back a lot. So that was one of the appealing things about this figure to me too. Okay, his legs will kick up that far out to the sides like that, just a little bit. He does have a thigh cut. There's that swirly plastic, right? And he has double jointed pinless knees that will get you back that far. Maybe a little bit more if you use this in a different way. So, and then he does have a perfectly well hidden boot cut because of these big booties, and he does have ankles that hinge back that far a lot and forward a decent amount, and he does have ankle pivot. So, all right, so let's compare him to a couple of other figures, and then we'll get out of here. So there he is next to his alien friend. Hopefully he's going to take on the characteristics of this figure in the near future. If we bring in the alien friend's old friend, that is Santa Claus. So here he is versus Santa Claus by Fresh Monkey Fiction. Okay, and here he is with a famous alien from Marvel Universe, Silver Surfer. You can see he is standing a little bit shorter than all of these people except his little green cousin. Alongside Iron Fist, just for reference. Iron Fist is not particularly tall, but he is still taller than this guy. Next to Iron Man, he's kind of dwarfed. And next to Hank Pym or Ant-Man, that's about how he stands next to him. So, okay. An alternative option, if we aren't able to use this little green alien head, I could try some of these sort of demon-y type heads from the Fresh Monkey Fiction Monster Force Black Watch Agent alternate heads. But I already discovered that this sits way too low, so it's not going to work in that way. But if I add a little bit of green stuff or another kind of putty, I do think I can make it sit at a better height, and it might look appropriate as some other type of army builder, almost like a demon. But demon, alien, something. But yeah, I think I'm going to go with the green alien first. These guys might sit sort of strange on this body. But okay, thanks guys for joining me on this look at this guy. I'll put the head back on, and I hope to see you in the next video. Hopefully things are looking better in the near future. Okay, bye guys, take care. F ice.